Hey guys, it's Ashley and this is Downright Bookish, and today I am doing a very, very late TBR for middle grade March. So if you're not familiar, Middle Grade March is put on by Krista from Books and Jams and Katie from Life Between Words. They put this together every March, and basically the idea is to encourage people to read more middle grade, especially since you don't have to be in middle grade to enjoy a good middle grade book. Krista asked me to recommend my favorite middle grade book for this March, and I'll put down the video of the announcement as well as the video she put together of all of the recommendations booktubers provided for this middle grade March readathon. It's a really great video and has a lot of really fantastic recommendations. So if you're participating, still kind of trying to figure out what you want to read, I highly recommend checking out that video. So there are a few prompts for this. The fifth is to read a book to screen adaptation. So whether it's a book to movie, book to TV kind of deal. I have 4 books that I want to try to get to this month. It's a pretty hefty deal for me since I'm averaging about 4 books a month, and there are other books that I want to read this month. But middle grade tends to be pretty quick reads for me, and I think I can knock out a couple of these pretty easily. So let's get into the books. So the first book that I want to read is The Girl Who Drank the Moon by Kelly Barnhill. And this has been on my TBR for quite some time, and it's now is the time for me to read it. This follows a world where every year a child is sacrificed to a witch. The witch is actually very nice and takes care of these children, nourishing them with starlight, I guess, and it's very magical and very fairy tale-esque, but she helps them, kind of raises them a little bit, and then guides them to the other side of the forest. But one day, one of the girls, she makes a mistake and feeds her moonlight, which gives the girl magical powers, and she decides to end up raising the child. So it sounds like a very magical, interesting story. There's a lot of mythical creatures, and it just seems like a really great coming of age story, and it's about time I picked this one up. The next book that I want to read is Amal Unbound by Aisha Saeed. I guess this covers the challenge of reading a book from a different country. So this follows the main character, Amal, who has dreams of becoming a teacher, but makes the mistake of insulting one of the leaders of her Pakistan village, and as punishment has to become basically one of their servants. And I think there is as she works for them, she uncovers a lot of things that they're doing to maintain control in this village. So while this is a pretty short book, I think it's going to be really hard hitting, and I am very curious to see how this goes, especially because it is a middle grade story. But it definitely was one that I saw at the Decatur Book Festival last year and immediately had to get my hands on it, not only because it has a stunning cover, but I think the message in this is going to be really good, and I'm excited and curious to see how this one goes. And the next 2 books are also books that I picked up from the Decatur Book Festival. Really want to get to My Life as an Ice Cream Sandwich by Ibby and I actually got this one signed by Ibby, so really excited about that because I'm a big fan of her work. But this is I believe this is her first middle grade book. Her other stories are more on the young adult side. This follows the main character, Ebony Grace, and she is not really like other girls her age. She loves science, and she's interested in all those things, and I think she goes to visit one of her relatives in the city and is kind of navigating being different than other kids like her, and also being kind of more on the nerdy side. So I feel like I am going to relate a lot to Ebony's character, especially at her age. I was definitely more on the nerdy side and didn't really fit in with other African American kids when I was younger, so I have a very strong personal connection to this story, and I want to see if the book achieves that premise. So yeah, I've heard mixed things about it, so I'm kind of nervous, but I really like Ibby's Boy's work, so I think I'm going to enjoy this one. And this one also surprisingly has comic book, you know, cover, I guess. What are these called? Like boards, I think. But yeah, so there's illustrations in this book, so this is also hitting one of the challenges as well. So I'm actually doing more of the challenges than I thought I would be, but yeah. And the last book that I want to read is For Black Girls Like Me by Mariam J. Lockington. And again, this book really drew me in because I could relate to the character, not kind of fitting in with being African American. But her upbringing is a little different than my upbringing. This follows Makita, who was adopted by white parents, and she's struggling with not really fitting in with her parents because she looks different than them, obviously, but also not really fitting in with African American culture and African American kids because she was raised by white parents. So I think this is also going to be a pretty hard-hitting story. And I got to hear the author speak at the Decatur Book Festival, and I think this is going to be a very emotional story because the author kind of had a similar upbringing to the character in this story. So I know there's going to be a lot of personal touches, and I feel like it's going to be a great representation of what it's like being adopted by parents that are not of your race, or also just having a family that's mixed race. So I am really excited about this one. So yeah, those are all of the books that I want to read for middle grade of March. I hope you guys are participating in this readathon because I think it's a really great idea. And I'm really curious to see what's going on in the middle grade publishing world and see how these books are kind of approaching these very serious topics. Because a lot of these, aside from like The Girl Who Drank the Moon, a lot of them are very serious and dealing with a lot of issues about race, about identity. I'm really curious to see how these topics are approached, especially for a younger audience. But I still think that they're going to be valuable and good reads for someone my age as well. So yeah, super excited. So if you guys are participating in middle grade March, let me know what you're reading in the comments below. And if you haven't already thought about participating, there's still time. I mean, we are like 1 week done with March, but there's still 3 weeks left in the month that you can really pick up some great middle grade reads. I will put down a link to Krista's announcement video kind of describing the whole readathon and the challenges, as well as her videos recommending some middle grade books and the video she compiled of other booktubers recommending books. So yeah, thanks again for watching, and I will see you guys very soon with another video. Bye!